Hello and welcome to Play Talk Repeat. I'm Oliver and I'm joined by Niall, Alex, and Lewis.
Hello.
Hello.
It's time for our video game book club episode. Once a month, one of us chooses the games for the group to play and review. And this month's game is Gitaroo Man, chosen by Lewis. Lewis, can you please explain why you chose Gitaroo Man?
Well, I'm a fan of rhythm games. I wouldn't say I'm a master at rhythm games by any means, like not at all. But I really do enjoy the concept and idea of fighting games, and unlike fighting games where I really like it but can't play them, rhythm games I like them and I can somewhat play them. So there's a much bigger advantage there, and I actually like when I can take the opportunity to give them a go. I chose Gitaroo Man mainly because I've wanted to play it for a while. Um, and it's a game that I believe is a cult classic. The people who've played Gitaroo Man and who know about Gitaroo Man really, really like it and like die for it. And it's a game that they keep hoping and praying that Capcom, it is Capcom, right? I think it is. It's a game that they hope Capcom are going to bring back at some point, or just like one day, which I very much think they could. Just
Well, they
due
are
to the
revitalizing stuff nowadays, aren't they?
I,
Mainly
I,
that's
with
all. Yeah,
the
I
Game
don't believe
Awards.
Capcom had any part of this. I don't believe.
is it not Capcom?
It
I
was
think it would
Koei.
have.
Koei Tecmo.
Oh, it's
Koei
Koei
Tecmo.
Tecmo. That's it. It's Koei Tecmo. Yeah, Capcom was the other game I was thinking of yesterday. When I said when I was mentioned that I had another game that I was going to choose, that was Capcom. But they keep hoping that Koei Tecmo, are going to remaster the game at some point or like bring it out again, which I think would be possible just due to like how short the game actually is. It's just whether or not there'd be any demand for it because it's already niche enough as is. And I feel like it's a game that they wouldn't necessarily want to put any sort of time into. But I think Guitar Man was really fun. I think it looked cool, and yeah, that's basically why I chose it. It just looked very cool. I mean, look at the PS2 box art; it looks sick. It just looks like a very fun time. Um, and I just thought it'd be a unique one for us to play for the podcast. And I
Yeah,
like unique stuff. I like weird stuff.
It was unique,
it
I'll
was
say that.
definitely unique. So
Yeah, exactly. Unique.
a little bit about the game. So it is, as Lewis says, it's classed as a rhythm game. It was developed by Inis and published
Yeah.
by Koei and THQ. I believe they were just known as Koei back then. Released originally exclusively on PS2 in 2001 before being ported to the PSP in 2006. For clarity, we have been playing the PS2 version. Opening statements. Lewis, you can start since you picked the game.
So for Guitar Man, I gave it a 7. Um, I thought the game was really fun. It did not overstay its welcome at all. I think the addition of having to move the analog stick, combined with having to press the buttons at the right time, was a really fun concept. Did it always work properly? No. Was that due to my own inability? Maybe. It definitely felt sometimes though that you had to be so precise that it was maybe physically impossible for a human to even like get done properly. Especially when it came to some of the more squiggly lines and stuff like that. Um, but the presentation, the story, and I'm not saying the story is a masterclass here, like by any means. It's very, very simple, but I think it's very funny and I think it works. But the story, the songs, the presentation itself, I just think everything about the game is just a really enjoyable time. And I think the fact that it's basically only an hour and 30 minutes, sort of helps that. I think if the game was 10 hours long and it was doing what it was doing, it'd be a mess. But yeah, the game being less than 2 hours and just a quick pick up and play, and it never really pushed. The difficulty spike was there. There was definitely like one point where the difficulty just shot up randomly in one particular level. And I'll see what everyone says later is what level was that for them. But there was one in particular where I was like, this is way harder than everything else. But yeah, I think overall the package was fun. I think they set out, well, I don't know what they set out for, but whatever they set out for, this is what they got, and it was good. um, and I just think it was a fun time. I think it's a fun, unique game like for the rhythm genre. And I'd be happy if they ever brought out another one. If they ever brought out a sequel or a remake and it had the same sort of style of gameplay, I'd play it because it was fun, at least to me.
Happy days. So that was a 7 out of 10. Alex?
Yes.
It should be fun.
Yes. Right. So we all know my experience with rhythm games. If we go back to the Metal Hellsinger podcast, I couldn't play the game. It was like physically impossible. I got stuck on level 2, and I was on it for like half an hour. I want to say, and I managed to do it. But then when I got to that third level, I was struggling. I was struggling hard. I couldn't do it. So, to my dismay, I had to slow down the emulator. Like it was that bad. My thumbs did not want to cooperate with me. So, just for that fact, I had to give it like a 3 out of 10. Just because the fact I physically could not play the game. It looked nice. It was very appealing, but the game's just not for me. I cannot. I cannot
Okay.
play it. So I literally played it. I think I played it on like 70% speed, and that was still difficult.
I get that. And I will say that is fair. Lewis may disagree with me over there, but I would say that is completely fair. Some people are just aren't suited to some kind
Yeah,
of
I mean,
games.
I won't
And
go into it too much,
yeah,
but
it's
I do disagree with the way he played. I get that it was to beat the game, but I just felt like with a rhythm game, especially the fact playing it at 70%, ruining the actual song itself, and also just because
we'll
it
get into
doesn't
that as
become
well, Lewis. We'll get into that
yeah,
bit.
it's just
I
Well,
like
think it's
I
just a
attempted every single level on 100%,
Yeah.
and without a doubt, I was always like I'm dead like halfway through the
yes,
game.
yeah. I won't go into. I'll let you do the opening
yeah.
statement. Sorry.
Especially because there's no easy mode. I think that's just creating your own easy mode, honestly.
Yeah.
My personal
essentially.
opinion. Yeah.
Also, Niall agrees with Alex's approach.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
I wasn't expecting
For
that.
sure.
Okay, fair play. Right, the Niall opening statement.
Yeah, bad game for sure. It's not a rhythm game at all. It is a quick time event game
Oh.
because the rarely do the QTs, even when it's just the buttons and not the when you're playing the guitar, even when it's just the buttons, it rarely hits the beat. It sometimes does, but not all the time. I think the fundamental flaw, the fact that like most of the inputs are a guitar solo, which do not have to adhere to the beat, make it so that you are just visually pressing buttons when the images appear. Like, for example, if you go back and watch the Hellsinger episode, you'll hear us all say, yeah, we were like bobbing up and down, tapping to the beat in order to help with the gameplay. And I was doing the same thing with Hi-Fi Rush, another rhythm game, which I really like. With this, that wouldn't have helped you at all. If anything, it would have hindered you because, yeah, it doesn't adhere to the actual rhythm. I gave it a 1.5 out of 10. The 3.5s were for the story, the presentation, and the music. I thought the music was really, really good.
But
But
that only
yeah,
gets a 0.5, even though the music's really, really good.
yeah, because it was fundamentally a terrible, terrible game. Like there was, in terms of the actual gameplay, there was no redeeming qualities. I thought that after I can't remember whether it's the fourth one, so after the B man or the one after that, where it starts introducing a more back and forth where you get to charge up multiple times. I thought that was more interesting, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to use this quick time event mechanic, not a rhythm mechanic, to like simulate this battle. I thought that was pretty cool, but yeah, just a bad game, a bad Lewis as well.
Bad Lewis for picking it, yeah.
Yeah.
I won't try and disagree with anyone's scores or anything like that. I think we need to stop doing that because everyone's got their own scoring system, Niall. And I would say 1.5 is very, very low, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you're
quite
your
harsh.
scoring system. It is
I
quite
don't think
hard.
it's very hard. I think it's fine.
So it's a hard one to rate this for a number of reasons. Firstly, we've been playing it on emulators. We might as well just admit that now because we're not going to buy this game. And it's kind of game where I don't know if the issues were I had with the game personally were because of we'll play it on emulators or not, because they're never going to be able to do some like emulate it 1-to-1 as if you were playing directly on a PlayStation 2. Secondly, in my opinion, it fails at being what it set out to be. Like, I completely agree with Niall. It's not a rhythm game in any way. It is. It's something else entirely. If I try to look at it from a different perspective and try to see it as like a challenging dexterity reflex game, like Niall said, kind of like a quick time event game. Like, this entire game is basically like a God of War boss fight. And it does that very well, and it packages it really nice and like a charming little story. The music's really good. Like Lewis said, it's unique, and I like that about it. It's very much reminds me a lot of Tulip, which we played on the Video Game Book Club before. It's just got that little quirkiness to it. I found it fun. but I also found it very frustrating. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay. I can see you pulling your face there. Got anything to say there? No?
No,
Jolly good.
no,
Jolly
nothing to
good.
say.
So, can someone pull that on a calculator for us? Anyone?
Go on, Alex.
I'll do it.
We
He's
got
doing it.
we got a 3.
Okay.
We got a 7.
We got a 5 and a 1.5.
Yeah.
5 and 1.5. Divide by 4, 4.125.
4.125. Cracking. So, Lewis, can you? Because I didn't really understand a lot of the story. I'm not gonna lie. It seemed funny and it seemed cute, but I didn't fully understand it. Lewis, are you able to go over the
Not
story of the game
understand-
for me?
It was like the simplest. Like, so so his dog, his dog gives him a guitar because he's the legendary Gitaroo Man, and anyone who has a Gitaroo, which is a guitar, you can become Gitaroo Man. And the whole point is that he has. is the... Sorry. Is that he starts defeating people with his Gitaroo, and then Prince Zoe, which I don't know if it was meant to be like a David Bowie reference because he was called Zoe, and I don't know, but
Yeah.
and it was spelt like Bowie as well. But anyway, he starts defeating people, and then Prince Zoe notices that this one Gitaroo Man is a sort of shredding throughout the universe, and King Zoe wants all of the Gitaroo because they're rightfully his. So he then goes to try and take what's he called, U1, I think he's called.
You
Yeah.
won. Yeah.
You won.
He wants to go and take U1's Gitaroo. So first he sends some henchmen to go fight U1, but obviously U1 keeps shredding harder and harder.
Yeah.
And then Zoe has to go and fight him himself, and then it becomes a one-on-one battle between him and Zoe. And yeah, I won't
Yeah.
spoil the ending, but
Yeah. Yeah. So
and that's sharing the story.
yeah,
There's
that's
also
the
like a little
story.
romance subplot in there as well, but that isn't overly
It
relevant.
just made
Basically,
no
he
fucking
likes this
sense
girl.
then, so-
He likes this girl at the start, and then some guy basically says, "Get with the times, loser," and then kicks him on the floor. And then at the end, he comes back.
Kazuya.
And then at the end,
Yeah.
he comes back with his Gitaroo, and then basically just steals his woman, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
To be fair, those
Um,
two songs
Were the
were my
best, yeah,
favorite throughout the
they were my
whole
favourite,
game.
yeah.
The love one,
Yeah.
the love song one, yeah.
Yeah.
They were better because they were the easiest to kind of.
It was one I did on 100%.
Associate with rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you do it on 100%? Well, there we go.
I
then.
did it on 100%.
Yeah, it was the closest to an actual rhythm game that we get. I do really want to speak about this. The biggest issue with this game for everyone but Lewis is that, like Niall says, it's not a rhythm game. You can't have a rhythm game where 90% of the notes you play are guitar solos. It makes no sense because the guitar solo is the only part of any song that doesn't conform to rhythm. It does what it wants, and that's the point of it.
Yes.
Do you have a
Like, that's
rebuttal, Lewis?
But it's still a rhythm game.
How?
How?
Explain to me.
Because he's still. What do you mean? Because the notes just. I know, right? I agree with you 100%. It doesn't match exactly to the beat because, like you just said, it's guitar solos and it doesn't work like that. But it still tries to conform to that to the best it can, and it still works with the rhythm. It doesn't completely stray away from what the rhythm of the song is. What's on screen isn't completely detached from what you're hearing. If it was, you'd have the hardest time in the world to match anything. And yes, I'm not saying it conforms to it exactly, because it doesn't. I agree with that. But arguing like it doesn't follow it in the slightest is a silly argument because it does. And I just think, I don't know, I think that's a bit, I just think it's silly.
But not in any meaningful way, because
think
it does when you hear it as you're pressing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
This is
that's
the
the thing,
issue,
you
you
get
need
the
to-
information when you need to do the input.
So you need to. It's like you need to hear it first and memorize it, so you know when those notes are gonna fall, because otherwise it is complete. I could play this game muted a lot better than I could with the music.
Yeah, and on the other hand, with Hi-Fi Rush and Metal Hellsinger, I think you could play those games without the visual aids of the rhythm and still be able to do it.
Yeah, Exactly. And the only reason you couldn't do that with like Guitar Hero or something because there's just so many different kind of notes. So Guitar Hero again, that it conforms to a rhythm. There are guitar solos in there, but the majority of the song conforms to the rhythm.
Okay.
You know, get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree. I agree that games do it better as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying in the slightest that this game does it perfectly or this is the standard of what a rhythm game should be. But I think for what it does, and I think the way it does it isn't necessarily bad. I think it does conform to a rhythm where it's perfectly playable by listening. I didn't struggle. And like I said, at some points it was harder, but there was no point where I was like, "Oh my god, this music and these notes—they're so difficult to put together." Oh, woe is me. It was fine.
Well, it's just that they didn't help you. It wasn't.
We're just not gamers like
It's just
you,
not-
Lewis.
we're
Like
not built
yeah.
different.
we're just old
I,
men. We
I
can't
always
do
thought
it.
I was quite good at rhythm games
just-
until I played this, and it all fell apart.
Just normal, man. Look, it's just like I think it's fine being bad at it. I don't disagree with people being bad at it all. I'm not bothered about that. I think that's a-okay. I think not being good at rhythm games, especially, is just like it is what it is. Not everyone is, and I mean, it takes some people way longer than others to get used to the way something plays. I just think it's I personally just think it's just a slightly insane take to be like it doesn't follow any sort of rhythm whatsoever because it does.
Man
But
in the
it isn't a
minority
rhythm
over here
game.
says that the 3 people have got an insane take.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, like, I appreciate what they were trying to do and turn it into like turning rhythm into kind of like a battle with different stages where you're attacking
for
and
sure.
you're defending.
Yeah.
And I think the whole, like you say, you got to press a direction to go when you're attacking, when you're doing your guitar solos. I think that actually it worked quite well. Yeah, like I say, it wasn't always precise, but it worked quite well. And I think
Well,
the idea of it was a lot better than the execution.
With the precision, I think the game would have worked so much better if the entirety of matching the direction with the analog stick to the direction on screen is if it was all cone based rather than it being locked on. It would lock on
Yeah.
It would,
to a
yeah.
certain degree, and if you slightly went off, even though the cone doesn't move, the game would still detect it as you moving off of it. And if it was all based, if it was just within that cone, it would have been so much better and would have been way easier. But it doesn't work like that for some reason.
Like if you had full control of the cone at all times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems to
I
only
agree.
work on basically like 90-degree angles or something. It's just really odd. Or like 30-degree angles, sorry. And yeah, it's just really odd and feels a bit weird sometimes because you can think that you're being nothing but accurate and following what's on screen, but then the game will immediately just blank out and just act like you missed. And that detection there felt a bit bad at times, and I feel like they could have fixed a massive issue if they just made it entirely reliant on where the cone was, and if it was within that cone, then you were sorted. But yeah.
Exactly, because you could, while it was locked on, you could drift your analog stick slightly without even realizing you're doing it because there's
Yes.
no visual interpretation of that happening on the screen. So then you try to hit the next note and you don't know why it's not doing it. Well, yeah. So you were talking about the level you found the hardest before, Lewis.
Oh yeah. I probably should have done research on what it was called, but it was the skeleton one. It was like
Skeleton
level
one, is it?
7. The one before the church.
That is where
if
I
helps
had
people,
the most difficulty. As
Like
well.
that level was nuts. That level was ridiculous. Like that like I said, difficulty spikes. That level was absurd. It was just too much.
Just asking to keep up with the rhythm of a mariachi guitar. It's absolutely
Yeah,
like,
that one was
It was
nonsense.
impossible for me.
Yeah, that was nonsense.
It was mental.
That one, I admit, when it started throwing all of the because that's one where it started throwing all of the face buttons at you at like once, and it threw like it threw like 100 notes at you in like a span of like 10 seconds. And I could not keep up. That one was definitely one where I just started mashing the controller and hoping for the best and just hoping that I had enough health left to actually get to the end of it. Luckily I didn't have to do it twice, but I could have been stuck there for sure if it had gone wrong. Like I could sense that was going to be a bit of a mess, that one. But I think that was by far the hardest part for me.
Did you not die at all throughout the game?
No, I died once in the church.
Oh really? On the church?
Yes. The very end of the church, there's like a really long string of notes at some point. It's the same with it hits you with a really long string of notes, but then it hits you with like 500 face buttons at once, and I just struggled that one time where my hand just wasn't in the right place, and like it just completely threw me off. But then the second time I saw it, and that was the only time I died. It was in the church one time. The rest of the game was fine.
I think I didn't do any of them in one attempt after the fourth one, I believe. But I want to say that fourth one, the shark, where you never actually attack. That was a massive. That's where the difficulty spikes for me, like massively. It's like you go from the B, which it was difficult, but I managed to do it in one. To the shark was insanity. Like
the shark was only insanity. It threw me off because there was no. It was all the face buttons.
It was all defense. You were just trying to survive, but it didn't say that to you.
No, that
say that was gonna
this
gonna end.
I kept prepping like my hand and my analog stick ready to start hitting notes, and then more fucking face buttons kept coming at me, and I was like, oh shit. That wasn't too bad, but yeah, definitely caught me off guard. Yeah. Especially since there wasn't another level like that either. It was just that one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine.
What was your most difficult one, Niall?
The spike was still the B-man. You know, when I was yeah, well, it was artificially so, because remember when I said I was getting a bunch of freezers?
Yeah.
Like I underestimated just how much that was fucking me up. Like it was, I had such an easier time with it. I beat every single one in 2 attempts, apart from the church one, which took me 4. And again, it was because of towards the end, like Lewis said as well. I always struggled when a part of the song just had a bunch of tiny, either on the like attack or defense, like a bunch of inputs back to back to back. Because if I missed the first one, I'd struggle to get back on track before I just got from like 100 to 0.
Yeah.
So that's usually what caught me out. But yeah, the B-man was in comparison to the second fight you did. The B-man I thought was way harder. It was like double the length as well. It fell anyway.
Yeah. I felt like it ramps up until the B, and then from the fourth one onwards, it was just constant, like real bad all the way through. It is a very, very difficult game. Alex, do you have one that stands out to you as the most difficult?
All of them, like genuinely, like the fact that I had to slow down the emulator, just says it all, and I still struggled. One of my big gripes actually was why have health bars for the bosses when they don't actually matter because you have to get to the end of the song anyway.
Oh yeah, that actually killed me once.
So I'd finished like beating one of the bosses. His health bar was empty, but I still had to get to the end and do the melody at the end. Yeah. Why not skip straight to the melody if I've already killed him?
Yeah, well, I think the way it works is I think the health bar that because it will go on forever if you weren't.
Yeah, the song will keep. The whole point that you're making is that why doesn't it go just skip to then? It's because it's a song and it can't just suddenly skip to something that doesn't make sense.
Why have an artificial health bar then?
It's not artificial. You need to get that health bar down in order to get to the finale.
Yeah, the game is built in a way where the length of the song is around the time. If you're okay at the game, it would expect you to beat the boss within. If you don't beat it within that time limit, the song will start repeating. Yeah. But it won't repeat from the start of the song. It will like go again from the chorus and then like sort of just keep going until you reach a certain point. And then when you get to the point where you can finish the song, it will then play like the last verse.
Yeah.
Okay. Like yeah, I think that happened when I was in the robot suit, and I was only doing like minimal damage about 10 times.
By the way, that robot on when you were on the moon, that song was a banger. I mean, I thought the whole soundtrack was a banger. If I'm being honest,
the only song to me that's memorable is the love song, and I like that it came back later in the later in the game. It was really good.
Oh yeah, because there's the acoustic version and then there's the actual proper version.
Exactly, it was really good. Looking at the time, do we have anything more to say on Gitaroo Man?
Can I say one more thing?
No.
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 Have you got any words on Gitaroo Man? Can I say something?
I was going to ask if I could go first. Right, anyway. Why can't you pause it? Why does pausing it end the song?
I never tried.
Oh, bro, the amount of time.
I literally, I got like a message, and I was like, right, I'll just pause it a sec. And then I answered my message, came back, and it just said try again, and I was like, what the fuck?
that is something I want to complain about the game. It's not even the pausing thing. It's I could never tell what I was pressing on the menus because what it highlighted isn't what you
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
it was
I get
highlighting.
that as well.
It was the opposite every time. I will not. I'm not shitting you. When I tried to save for the first time, it took me like 9 minutes. I kept thinking there was a problem with the emulator not reading the memory card.
I did the
But
exact same thing.
what I was doing was pressing no when it said,
Yeah.
"Do you want to save?" I just kept saying nah. But it's because it highlights it. I think it highlights it in white, or what's highlighted
Yeah.
in white. You think is what's meant to be highlighted, but it's the opposite. And yeah, no, that threw me off. That was really weird. I don't know why it did that. I thought that was an emulator issue, but that's just how the game is.
I agree with both of those points. Yeah, you should be able to pause it. It is ridiculous that you can't. That it makes you start again if you do so.
It does.
But also, yeah, no, I had the exact same issue when trying to save it. It would just it looks like it's highlighting the exact opposite
Yeah,
thing of what you
I
expect it to
genuinely
highlight.
thought the memory card thing was broken. I could not get it to save for the life of me. And then I just realized, oh, it's me. I'm just pressing no every single time.
Cracking. Now, we got anything more to say?
Just no more bad games, Lewis, please. Thank
No
you.
more bad games. Well, it's
Appreciate it.
next. It could be even worse game.
That is true.
And finally, Lewis, anything more to say?
Koei Tecmo remaster the game at some re-release. Don't even remaster it. Just release it on PS2.
Definitely
Classic,
remaster
someday.
it. There's definitely some work to be done. I reckon.
No, I mean, no. I mean,
Oh,
if,
yeah.
if you want to put the money in,
Yeah.
but like, I just don't think they would. So I'm saying the next best option would just be re-release it on the PS2 classic thing, because I think people would enjoy it. And the game reviewed really well when it came out. It got like 8 out of 10s like everywhere pretty much. So like, I just think it'd be fun. I think people would enjoy it if they re-released it.
Interesting. All right, cracking. Let's move on to 20 questions. It is Alex's turn to pick a game. God help us. Transition. Right. You would like to go first?
Oh my god.
In fact, can I just ask before we start this, because we had Gitaroo
yeah.
Man last time. Are we going to be able to guess his game, Alex?
Yeah.
We are going to be able to guess his game.
Yeah.
Lewis, would you have said at any point that we will be able to guess Gitaroo Man?
Yes.
Right. So
In fact, I did know what Gitaroo Man was. It's just Lewis said a bad question. He was like, "Only Oliver will know this."
Yeah,
That's not what I
to be fair,
said.
that is what.
He did.
Not what
That
I
is
said.
exactly what he said.
What I said was, if anyone was to know this based on what they have played, it would be Oliver, because Oliver was the only one who played another game by the same company. That was it.
While we're on the subject, Elite Beat Agents is 1,000 times better than this game.
Yeah,
I haven't played it, and I agree.
I agree. I really love Elite Beat
It's really
Agents.
good.
Great game.
Right, okay, 20 questions. Niall, go first.
Do you play as an animal type character?
No.
Oh shit! It's not an Alex
It's not
game.
Banjo Tooie.
It's not.
Are you making notes now, yeah?
Yes.
Alright, okay, cracking. Lewis.
Could I beat this game? Actually, no, I haven't played it.
I hope we can beat the game.
Well, I was gonna say, could I beat this game in one playthrough? But I don't know if he knows how long it is.
One playthrough.
Yeah.
One playthrough from start.
I'd be Gitaroo Man. Be Gitaroo Man in one playthrough.
I mean, yeah, be a lot of games in one playthrough.
What shall I ask? Does this game? Did this game release between the years of 2003 and 2012?
Yes.
Oh, there we go, guys.
What generation's that, Lewis? What have you got for us there?
we know it's not an early PS2 game.
Yeah, so it's like PS3, PS4 generation. No. Yeah?
No. PS2 to
PS2, PS3.
PS2 to PS3, yeah.
Oh, like I know the Wii came out in 2006. Was that generation?
Yeah, it's that generation. Yeah, basically nothing on the one or the PS4.
Right.
That's just one on the PS4. There you go.
Okay. What a wild year to pick. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I chose those.
Is it a Japanese developer? Yes.
It is.
I fucking knew that. Okay, Niall.
Oh dear. All the Yakuza games are really long, aren't they?
Yeah, it can't be. It's impossible.
Is it third person?
Yes.
Okay. We're getting a lot of yeses there, fellas.
Okay.
Third person, Japanese, 2003, 2012.
Is it Lewis time?
Yeah, it is Lewis time.
It's Lewis time.
Is it a well-known developer.
Sounds like a no.
Yeah, I feel like it is.
I don't know developers.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the point, though. that if-
I would say no.
Okay,
Okay.
he would say no. So Alex doesn't know the developer. That's the question.
I feel like if it was well enough, like if it was well known enough, you would know it. Like you would recognize it as a name.
Yeah,
is it-
but I'm just saying from my point of view, no.
is any part of the game classed as a platformer?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
A human platformer.
Human?
Human plot. It's just a
No.
dude.
Well, it's not an animal type character.
Could be a robot.
Wait. No,
Oh.
no, can't, no, no.
Because it could be a robot. Should I ask? Would that
Uh,
help?
What is it? A
or
robot?
you could guess if it's a human. You could guess if
yeah.
it's a human.
Is it a human type character?
Do you
The
play
No.
human type.
It's
Being.
not a human type character, so it's got to be a robot or an alien.
Could be
Yeah.
a dog. Could be
It could be.
like you didn't say we haven't gotten rid of like it could be an animal, right? It could be
Yeah,
an
we have. That
animal.
was the first question. Animal.
Oh, animal type character.
What did Sly first come out on?
PS2.
Oh.
It can't be Sly. The answer was no to animal type character.
Oh
He
yeah,
also-
yeah. No,
And he also said it wasn't Sucker Punch as no well-known developer.
yeah,
so-
no, that's true. Whose turn is it? Who's asked the question?
I mean,
Lewis
it's
now.
first list to go.
Has this game been remastered / remade at any point?
Yes.
Should I ask if it's a robot?
I said, what, you chibi robot? Like,
I don't know.
what do you mean?
If it's not, if it's not an animal or a human, then it's got to be.
I mean, I get a machine or an alien, I suppose. You know?
Yeah, it's one of those two things, as far as especially if it's third person because you can see your character. Do you play as a robot or an android?
Yes.
You do, right? So it's a robot, it's a platformer, and it's probably
Android
a PS2 game.
Android platform.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these.
An Android-based platform.
Was there a movie tie-in game for robots? Was that
Oh,
also
there
a
was. It
platformer?
was a banger as well. You know, it was a good game.
Was it a platformer?
You can't,
platform-
you
it had
can't pick a
platform-
licensed game after giving you so much shit.
It had platforming sections. It was a mixed bag. It had lots of things.
Is it a movie tie-in game?
No.
No, it was never gonna be. Never in a million.
I was
years.
kind of hyped to play robots.
10 questions.
Trying to think of something that will actually narrow it down because I feel like we've asked 10 questions and we have nothing.
I think it's one of those things. Like I reckon, with the information that we've currently got, we should be able to guess what it is. There cannot be that many games with a robot.
Platformer.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've had a good run with these 10 questions so far.
And it ain't Astro Bot.
we've got a lot of information.
I'm gonna say, is this Ooh, no. No, I don't want to ask any carrots questions. It's not specific enough. Is the game exclusive to one console?
I was going to ask that, you bastard.
Yes.
Is it? Ooh, what's it exclusive to though? That's the question.
Yeah.
Wait,
Wait.
does Knack count as a robot? I remember Knack.
That
Does
also
that-
came out in 2016, 2017.
Wait,
no,
this
2013.
could be Chibi Robo, right? Oh no,
No, yeah.
Did Nintendo develop Chibi Robo?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I can't look it up. I don't think I can look that up. I think that's cheating in spirit of the game.
Wait,
I
sorry.
don't- Sorry,
Did,
walk on.
did Lewis ask a question?
He did.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
was it? Sorry.
Is
I
it
missed
exclusive?
it.
Was it
No, no.
exclusive?
Oh
to
yeah,
a
it's
certain
exclusive
console?
to one console. Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, I think we
Yes.
need to nail it down a little more. Is it exclusive to a Nintendo console?
It is.
Is it Chibi Robo?
Well, I just don't know who developed it. This is the issue.
Yeah, say-
Like,
yeah, that's
I
the
thought
issue,
it was
yeah.
first party Nintendo, but
Because when you
I mean,
said
it's-
robot-based platform, I did jokingly say Chibi Robo because it's the only
Yeah.
robot-based platformer I can think of.
I'm
but-
hyped if he's picked it because I've wanted to play that for ages.
I mean,
the only reason I don't pick it is because it'll be easily guessed if I pick
It'd be
it.
easily guessed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's good that you don't know the developer though, because it's not a well-known one.
Yeah. No.
I sure the Nintendo didn't publish it.
They definitely published it. I just
Oh,
don't
sorry,
know
not
if they
sorry,
developed it.
developed it. Yeah, sorry.
Maybe it's worth asking if it was published by Nintendo.
That could be. Yeah, that
Mm.
would literally. Yeah, that would narrow it down like tremendously.
Was it published by Nintendo?
It was.
It's definitely Chibi Robo. It's gotta be.
I'm just gonna guess. Is it Chibi Robo?
It's Chibi Robo.
Let's go.
Oh, wow.
That's fucking,
Okay.
that is very exciting.
I knew I'd throw a spanner in the works by picking Chibi Robo because I know Oliver actually wants to play it, and
Yeah.
I know Oliver's never going to pick it. So
I mean, I've just never
Um,
picked it because, like Oliver said, it would just be an easily guessable game, and I didn't want to.
yeah, and we got to like what, question 14.
Yeah, no, I just didn't expect.
I'll take that.
Let's throw the trailer.
No,
up.
I just wanted a fun platformer to play, so that's like why I picked it.
No.
My other game was like half the length in time to this, but I wanted to play Chibi Robo.
One excellent choice.
Yeah, and you're all like being like, "Oh no, Alex is gonna pick a terrible game."
Well, you might have done. I don't know. It might be terrible for all I know. I've never played it.
I've literally never played it.
It could be asked. Who developed it? I want to know.
Skip Limited.
Skip Limited. Interesting.
Yeah, I was looking through their games, and they made a game called LOL. Never heard of it.
Just lol.
I thought they made a Ben 10 game, but it's called Base 10.
Oh.
But
Did
they've
they
literally
make- did they make
only
the
made
Chibi
Chibi Robo
Robo
and then
game?
Replay Motion.
Okay.
Okay, grand. We'll see enough of the trailer there, I reckon. All right. Okay. So cool. That's the end of our video game book club episode. So remind me what we gave Gitaroo Man.
A 4.125.
A 4.125, and our next game will be Chibi Robo. When's Chibi Robo going? Not remind me.
End of March.
End of March. Grand. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.